Hello, my name is Eloy Sherlock, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to sound like your favorite composer. And today's composer, Bernard Herrmann, all the way from Citizen Kane to Pyscho to Cape Fear, 90 others, and finally ending up his film career with Taxi Driver. Listen to the 60-second demo, and then afterwards, I'll show you, kind of like how Columbo goes through all kinds of different clues, I'll show you how I arrived where I did and how you can too. Here we go. All right, places everyone. String players. When you're playing, I'm not looking for a pretty tone. I'm looking for harshness. And horn players, when you come in violently, pianist. I want to make sure that the staccato's on the bottom, very exact. All right, here we go. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. That Dimension Orchestra, pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. Okay, so as we're looking at any composer, we want to look at their music, because looking at their music gives us an insight into how they think. And in other words, you look at a Beethoven score, it doesn't go da 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 da. That's not his personality. His personality goes da 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 da. So that gives you an idea. And with Bernard Herrmann, you also get the same thing. Let's pull up. We're going to look at two scores. The first one we're going to look at is his Pyscho Prelude. Let's pull this one up here. I got this over at, let's see here. There it is. I got this over at musescore.com. And if you haven't been over there, I encourage you highly to pick that up, because there's so much stuff you can get out of that. Okay, so now here we are. We're looking inside, and we see the prelude from Pyscho. And as we're looking at this, just like any good detective sleuth, we start noticing some things right away. And this is only the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bars. Here we got thirds, 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 thirds. All down here, all kinds of thirds. And then we've got ostinatos. And it's constantly repeating, constantly repeating. Even on the second page here, you can see the same thing. Ostinato, thirds, thirds, thirds. Ostinato, ostinato, thirds, thirds, thirds. So if you're going to be looking at this, you're going to start saying, well, how do I start using that? How do I use that to start as a starting point, a jump-off point? Well, you then go ahead and you start writing in thirds. And if I want to go ahead and give it a little bit more attention, and if I want to do an ostinato, and then if I want to stop it, because here on his score, he's doing, what is it? I'm going, And then you're going. So he's going ahead thirds, ostinato, and lots of repetitions. So, clue number 1. The second score is from the movie On Dangerous Grounds. This is the death hunt scene. And if you've never heard this music, I highly recommend. It's truly marvelous. It's just marvelous. When I found this on fellow YouTuber's channel, David McCulley. It's his transcription, so I want to thank him for that. And as we start looking at this, we start getting a more of an insight into Bernard Herrmann's mind. B minor, F minor, B minor, D minor. If I go over to here, G minor, E minor. The guy likes a lot of minors. So that helps you as you're starting to write. At the same time, instrumentation is so important. Here we've got piano, cello, bass, piano, low strings. So it starts to sound a little bit. It starts to sound like this. Now, to us, we've heard that quite a bit. So a lot of different composers have used that. But in that time period, that was very new because so many of the composers, they were coming from, they were European composers, Max Steiner and such, and they had this romanticism. Everything was to sound beautiful. Well, when Bernard Herrmann came in, he was all about emotion driven. So now that we're starting to look at this, I took the D minor, I actually did this backwards, D minor, F minor, B minor. That's how I was starting to construct the music. So I was going, and then I'll take the F minor, and then the B minor, just really great stuff. So as I was looking at this score, then I pulled up my Divisimate, because as many of you know, I use Divisimate to be able to help me orchestrate. It's a great tool. If you're not using it, highly recommend it. So now I got the Bernard Herrmann 3-part low strings, Bernard Herrmann 3-part tuba, contrabassoon, bassoon, Bernard Herrmann 3-part oboe, English horn, clarinet, and trombone. And each one of these has its own distinct sound. So it goes like this. So I started putting together these different instrumentation in Divisimate. So now I've got a tuba on the bottom end, a contrabassoon, and a bassoon. So in here, start looking like this. You can see where I've put the third, the second, and the first, because it breaks it up into a triad. So if I'm playing an E minor chord, it's automatically splitting up the different instruments. Great stuff. Great stuff. So now we're looking at the 3-part tuba, bassoon, tuba, contrabassoon, and bassoon. So just really, really good stuff. And then as we're starting to look at it, I'm going to move this back out of here. We're starting to see the same thing again happening. More clues. Repeat. And then here the French horns coming in. Let me see here. I'm going to pull in the French horns. I'm going to pull this guy up here. And so what I did with that, go do an F minor chord. And it's so important to be able to have those horns to be able to dig into it. So, oh. Instead, a regular staccato patch, it gets messy. It's not clear. So you have to have a staccato patch that repeats a performance staccato patch. Okay, then what we also see inside of here, we're looking at the bottom. We're starting to see a steel plate, and that gives us, when I'm putting into that horns, all of a sudden, bam! It just hits that. It's really good stuff. Bernard Herrmann's career spans over 4 decades, from the 30s to the mid-70s. And during that time, there was such technological advances that his music was able to take advantage of these. For instance, let's say that you wanted to put together a bass flute and a timpani. Well, in a regular concert setting, that would be impossible because the timpani would just simply override the sound. But now in a sound stage, you're able to do that. So you could go ahead and put in that. And then have a timpani in the background going plum, plum, plum. Well, in a regular orchestra setting, you never hear the bass flute. So he was able to take advantage of these things. And you hear so many of these different types of usages, the instrumentation through all kinds of other composers' music. Just really great stuff. And especially if you're listening to the Star Trek series, you'll hear a lot of that type of stuff going on. Studying scores makes me a better musician. I encourage you to go ahead and do the same exercise I did. Put together a 60-second piece of music. Study the score, and you'll find that when you get done, you're a much better musician than when you started. And if you're having trouble, do what I did. Take the chords, and then instead of going forwards, run them backwards. It's not only will you learn, it's a lot of fun. So, once again, thank you. God bless. Take care. And I'm going to play this one more time, but when I play it, I'm going to show you the data and also the virtual instruments, so that way you get to see a better inner workings of how all this was together. Fantastic. God bless. Take care. Bye-bye. Reverb. Reverb is your friend. It's your glue. It's what makes an instrument give that realism. Here I'm using Mir Pro, and I'm using the Vienna Concert House, the small hall, which is the Schubert saal, and I'm showing you the different instruments and how I've placed them. Now, I keep most of the wet and dry ratio between 35 and 40. I'm using the second microphone, the 7th row, and the 4th microphone, which is in the back, and I'm giving the secondary mic a plus 4 dB. This particular Mir Pro room just makes these samples sing. Not only do I use it for VSL, but I also use it for other manufacturers too. It's just so wonderful. I can't stress how great it is. And here I've got the woodwind separated, mainly because it just gets so crowded if I put it onto one stage. But if you don't have this, I highly recommend get it. You won't be sorry.